Chapter 7, Exercise 7.61. For the following reaction, compute the theoretical yield of product in grams for each of the following initial amounts of reactants: 1.5 grams of aluminum, 1.5 grams of chlorine 2. We'll just use the amount of aluminum to predict the amount of the product, and then we'll use 1.5 grams of chlorine to predict the amount of the product. And whichever number is smaller, it's going to be the theoretical yield. So first, 1.5 grams of aluminum, 1.5 divided by the molar mass of aluminum. Alright, so this is the number of moles of aluminum, and then there's a 1-to-1 ratio. So over here we have the moles of aluminum chloride. Aluminum is 27, chloride 35.5 times 3, because each chlorine is 35.5 gram per mole. So this is from the mass of aluminum. We can also versus another expression. First I did copy paste so that we can compare the two expressions side by side. So if we have 1.5 grams of CO2, I'm gonna use 1.5 grams of CO2 divided by the molar mass of CO2. Alright, and then I need to take off the ratio. So 3 moles of chlorine 2 produce 2 moles of this, so we're gonna have to multiply this by 2/3. Alright, so we have two equations or two expressions. This is the amount of the product based on 1.5 gram of aluminum versus over here this is the amount of the product based on the amount of chlorine. Which is smaller? I think this is smaller, because over here you have 1.5 over 27 and this is 1.5 over 71. So this number is smaller already, and then multiply by 2/3, so it's even smaller than that. So I think this is the second expression is the correct answer. What I will do is I'll copy paste the whole thing and I'll delete the first expression. The second expression should be the correct answer. Alright, I just want to emphasize that 1.5 over the molar mass of chlorine 2, we get the number of moles of chlorine 2 multiplied by 2/3. It's because there's a 2-to-3 ratio, 2 products from 3 chlorine 2, and then this is the molar mass of the product. Since I did copy paste, so I'm gonna do it again over here. It's just over here, this aluminum is 7.8, okay, and chlorine is 24.8. Alright, now what we need to do is we compare this 7.8 over 27 with this 24.8 over 2 times 35.5 times 2/3. Again, it's just because we can use the amount of aluminum to predict the number of moles of product, which is 7.8 over 27. We can use 24.8 grams of chlorine 2 to predict the amount of product as well, which is 24.8 over the molar mass of chlorine 2. Each chlorine is 35.5, so I have 2 chlorine atoms on the bottom. Why 2/3? It's just because every 3 moles of chlorine 2, we get only 2 moles of product. Now numerical comparison, 7.8 over 27, it's a bit less than 0.3. You can double check. Over here, 24.8 over, this is 71, it's also roughly 0.3, and then times 2/3, so this is actually 0.2, about 0.2 moles of product, and this is nearly 0.3. So I think the second expression is smaller. I'm gonna keep the second expression, and I will click submit. Alright, finally part C. Part C, I copy pasted these 2 expressions, one from aluminum, one from chlorine, but I need the actual amount, 0.235 grams of aluminum, and over here it's 1.15. Alright, again, 0.235 over 27, that's the number of moles of aluminum. And then there's a 1-to-1 ratio between aluminum and the product. So this is also the number of moles of the product. It's a bit less than 0.01, right? So just remember this is a bit less than 0.01, maybe 0.008 ish. Now look at this one. This one, 1.15 divided by 71, and then times 2/3. Well, of course, you can just use a calculator to make the comparison. This number, all right, inside the parentheses, and also this number to see which one is smaller. The smaller one is the correct answer. But for now, I'm gonna just estimate. I think this is smaller. Just by looking at this is about 0.008 something, and this is close to 0.01. So this is larger. This is smaller. I would keep the smaller number, so I'm gonna delete the chlorine part. So in this case, given the information, I think aluminum is the limiting reactant. And also there's another way to look at this. 2 aluminum, the molar mass for 2 aluminum is 54. And then what if we have 3 chlorine 2? 3 chlorine, each chlorine 2 is 71. 3 chlorine 2 is 200 something. 200 something over 54. If you look at the mass ratio, it's roughly 4-to-1. And I think this number is more than 4 times this. So chlorine 2 is likely in excess, and aluminum is likely the limiting reactant. But again, I mean, it's better to use a calculator to compute the numerical value of this. Alright, but it turns out it's correct. My answer is based on aluminum, because this is the limiting reactant, and you can see from aluminum you get 0.008 something moles, and based on chlorine, yeah, you get 0.0108 moles. This number is larger, this number is smaller. So that means aluminum is the limiting reactant, chlorine 2 is in excess.